going on, guys? BrettO Live back with another video, and welcome to the Week in Review, episode 173. This is where we go over WWE Raw and SmackDown in an action figure setup style, basically a podcast style as well. I talk about what happened, give you guys the results for both Raw and SmackDown, what I thought about it, what they could change, what's bad, what's good. I give ratings out of 5 at the end of each show that I talk about. So without further ado, we're going to jump into episode 173 of the Week in Review setup, so let's do it. Starting over here, we opened up the show with Bayley and her team, Dakota Kai and Io Sky. They had a pretty good promo, talking about how they appeared at SummerSlam, how they're here to make a statement, how the Women's Tag Team Championships are up for grabs. Bayley's sort of gunning towards the Raw Women's Championship that Bianca holds, and Dakota Kai and Io Sky are gunning towards the Women's Tag Titles, because of course they did announce a tournament. But of course, before they could get any more words about it, what their future plans and goals are, Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, and Asuka all came out and interrupted them. They basically came into the ring. Bianca was talking crap to both of them. We got that 6-on-6 tag team match we're going to be seeing pretty soon, I would assume. And then Bianca's like, why don't we fight tonight? And boom! And then it ended up in an all-out brawl, very similar to what we saw last week. And then we had a couple officials come out, Adam Pearce, a bunch of referees, just to break up the action. Then it sort of went to commercial. So very similar to what we saw last week. I hope they change it up. Yeah, I do like Bayley's group. I do find it pretty cool. Later in the show, it was Io Sky and Dakota Kai going up against Dana Brooke and Tamina in a tag team match to determine who's going to move on to the semifinals of the Women's Tag Team Championships tournament. Obviously, it's going to be Io Sky and Dakota Kai. No way Tamina and Dana Brooke are winning this tag team match. There's just no way in hell. That ain't happening. You know what I'm saying? They, of course, got to enhance Dakota Kai and Io Sky's freaking tag team by letting them win here. So they were able to pick up the victory, which I thought was pretty decent. Moving over here, it was MVP and his newest client, Omos. And Omos, of course, had a 1-on-2 handicap match. He went up against two random guys, I would assume from around the area of where Monday Night Raw was that night. And he went up against them in an enhancement match, basically. He wrecked both of them. I'm not a big fan of enhancement matches. I think they're boring. I don't think they matter. Obviously the WWE star always wins, but I just don't think they matter at all. I found this really lame, in my opinion. Moving over here, Dolph Ziggler had a match 1-on-1 with Chad Gable. This was a pretty good match. I did enjoy it. This is just a very technical wrestling match, because of course Chad Gable, a former Olympian, Dolph Ziggler, known for his wrestling ability. Dolph Ziggler is so freaking good, dude. They need to give him a bigger push, towards the United States Championship or the Intercontinental Championship. So many people could feud for that Intercontinental title with Gunther, dude. Gunther is not a good IC champ, in my opinion. But anyways, this match was pretty decent. I did enjoy it. Dolph Ziggler was able to win and beat Chad Gable, I believe, with the super kick, and then Otis tried to rush the ring, but Dolph Ziggler's smart. He's smart, so he got out of the ring before he attacked him. I thought it was pretty good. I did enjoy it. It was a match, but I did enjoy Ziggler winning. I like Ziggler. Moving over here, it was Kevin Owens versus Ezekiel 1-on-1, and this is more than likely going to be the last match we see between them for a long freaking time. Kevin Owens, he out of the gates, right after the bell ring, he went right after Ezekiel, pounding him down, and then he got him to the outside of the ring, and then he did that powerbomb on the apron that he did to Sami Zayn, got him out of action after he won the NXT title. You guys remember? I do. He dropped Ezekiel on the apron, and then a stretcher had to come out, and Kevin Owens just was witnessing everything he did. I loved this angry, aggressive side of Kevin Owens. Supposedly Triple H does have big plans for Kevin Owens, and I really liked this. I really did. He brutalized him. He got taken away in an ambulance. I thought it was really cool. And then they ended up interviewing him backstage, and Kevin Owens is just like, I'm done with the jokes. I'm done with this bullcrap. And he's coming for blood. This is just going to be a more aggressive Kevin Owens. I guarantee it. Moving over here, first it was Damian Priest challenging Edge in a promo to a match on Monday Night Raw in Toronto, because Edge hasn't had a match in Toronto in 12 years, according to Damian Priest. So that was the promo with Judgment Day, and then it turned into a match. Rey Mysterio versus Finn Balor 1-on-1. Of course, Damian Priest was on ringside. Damian Priest tried to get involved multiple times, and then Edge came out. He had enough. Him and Damian Priest kind of just brawled out of the equation. They just brawled out of the arena. And then it was all Rey Mysterio and Finn Balor, but the entire thing was that Dominic isn't trusting Edge. So he didn't really side with Ray tonight, and Ray was a little worried. But then we saw Dominic. He was brutalized by Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley brings Dominic out, distracts Rey Mysterio with Dominic's body, and then Finn Balor was able to take advantage and hit a coup de grace on Rey Mysterio to pick up the victory. I don't know. Like I said last week, I'm not the biggest fan of Rhea Ripley in this group. I mean, yes, I think it should be a guy. I think it should be 3 men on 3 men. You know, you got the Mysterios and Edge, and you got Finn Balor, Damian Priest, and Rhea Ripley. It just doesn't work. You know what I mean? It just needs to be another guy, in my opinion. But as far as the match goes, it wasn't too bad. Moving over here, it was Seth freaking Rollins going up against Angelo Dawkins one-on-one in a match. Last week, we saw Seth Rollins pick up the victory over Montez Ford. This week, he was able to pick up the victory over Angelo Dawkins. This time, hitting a pedigree on Dawkins to pick up the victory. Maybe a little shout out to Triple H there. He used to hit the pedigree all the time back in like 2015, dude. But yeah, he was able to hit the pedigree, and then he curb stomped him after the match, and then Montez Ford came out and junk. I was like, oh crap. So Montez Ford, I thought they were gonna do another angle where Montez Ford turns on Dawkins, but they didn't. But they're definitely planting the seeds for it. Because why do we need to see a Seth Rollins versus Street Profits rivalry? I just don't understand that. Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford are definitely splitting up soon, I guarantee it. But as far as Seth Rollins picking up another victory, heck yeah, dude. Moving over here, we had an awesome United States Championship match between Tommaso Ciampa and Bobby Lashley. This match was really good, of course, for the United States Championship. Tommaso Ciampa going into this match, dedicating it to the first ever United States Champion, Harley Race, or King Harley Race, and he went into it with a bang, dude. Tommaso Ciampa literally had Bobby Lashley so close to 3 counts multiple different times. It was insane. Like, I really thought he had Bobby Lashley after he sent him into that exposed turnbuckle, but he didn't. In the end, Bobby Lashley was able to hit the Hurt Lock, tap out Tommaso Ciampa, but Tommaso Ciampa has nothing to worry about. He had a great showing in this match, kicked out of multiple different maneuvers from Bobby Lashley. This was just a great, long match. I really enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed it. Moving over here was the main event. It was Miz versus AJ Styles, because of course in the Bobby Lashley and Ciampa match, AJ Styles got Miz out of the equation, turned into a match later that night. It was no disqualification. They used multiple different kendo sticks, weapons to inflict damage on each other. Tommaso Ciampa ended up coming out and getting sent through a table by AJ Styles, and then AJ Styles was able to hit the Styles Clash on Miz to hopefully end this rivalry between them two, because I've very much disliked it. But yeah, and speaking of starting new rivalries, we saw AJ Styles still in the ring celebrating. Like, why do they still have the camera on AJ Styles? This is a little odd. And then later in the show, with a Dakota Kai and Io Sky and Bayley promo, we saw security and police run past them. I thought that was really odd. I'm like, what the heck's going on? And then AJ Styles is looking in the crowd, and he sees this sight. Dexter Lumis on ringside, getting taken away by real police officers. I really do think they got real police officers to do that, because, yeah, they literally looked super real, and they were taking him away. And I saw, if you guys watched the video on WWE's YouTube channel, there was like a couple, there was a fans right next to him, and the guy's like, yo, back up, because he thought like a criminal was actually getting arrested right next to him, which I thought was so cool. I thought this was awesome. I loved it. You gotta watch the video on WWE's YouTube channel, though. It displays it way better than it was on TV. So definitely watch that. Dexter Lumis, of course, I think he was released by Vince McMahon. I could be wrong on that. If I'm wrong, definitely correct me down in the comments down below. But yeah, Triple H bringing Dexter Lumis up here to the main roster, starting him off really cool. He was taken away by police for invading Raw and distracting AJ Styles, but AJ Styles didn't really acknowledge him. He kind of just looked over and he's like, yeah, I still won. Let's go. But yeah, that was a cool way to end the show. Leave us with another cliffhanger. You know what I'm saying? Triple H, he knows how to do it, man. He really does. But yeah, guys, that was Monday Night Raw. I really hope you guys enjoyed this part of the video. For Raw this week, I'm going to give it a 2.5 out of 5. A 2.5 out of 5. I enjoyed a decent amount of the matches, but as far as like things advancing, you know what I'm saying? But I would give this show a 2 out of 5, and that's pretty good. And continuing the weekend review here with SmackDown, we're going to be talking about the show setup style. Same thing we just did with Monday Night Raw. SmackDown was pretty decent this week. It wasn't like one of those shows where I just couldn't wait for it to end. Like some WWE shows that I watch, I'm just like, oh my god, I'm looking at the time on my phone, I'm just like, oh my god, when is this gonna end? This one wasn't bad. I enjoyed SmackDown. There were some decent surprises that happened in this show. We're gonna run it up. We're gonna talk about it right now. Let's do it. Starting off with our opening match of the night, it was Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah going up against Shotzi as well as Xia Li. This was a women's tag team championship tournament match, and this match was okay. I thought it was a pretty decent way to open up the show. Some decent action. They definitely put on a decent tag team match. I did enjoy it. I'm not going to lie. Good opener for SmackDown. In the end, we saw Raquel Rodriguez pick up the victory for her team, her and Aaliyah. Pretty decent tag team. I do like it. And then they also did, they talked about the rest of the bracket, of course, for the tournament. And I'm going to give my prediction right now. I think it's going to be Nikita, and I believe her name's Zoe Stark. I think they're going to take it, dude. Brand new from NXT. They gave him a little hype video during the show, too. I think they're going to take the entire thing. But as far as this match goes in the beginning of the show, I thought it was a decent opener. Moving over here, it was the Viking idiots making their entrance, and I'm like, okay, what are they going to do? Are they going to face Kofi Kingston again? They were making their entrance. They were by the Titantron, walking out. I'm like, okay, what is about to happen here? Because they didn't announce anything for them, and they randomly just started coming out. Kofi Kingston from behind with a kendo stick tries to attack them 1-on-2. I'm like, what is this idiot doing? Kofi Kingston tried to take him on with a kendo stick all by himself. It did not work out too well. The Viking idiots used their shields to attack Kofi Kingston, and then Ivar got on top of the metal barricade. He jumped off of it, did a little frog splash, or I should say a big frog splash, onto Kofi Kingston, and literally had to have put him out of action. Literally. I thought they were going to do an angle where maybe Big E comes out and just shocks the world that he's back, but I think they want him fully medically cleared before he makes his return. But yeah, Kofi definitely needs some help. He needs Xavier back. He needs Woods back if he's going to take on the Viking idiots. Moving over here, it was Drew McIntyre coming out talking about Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, and addressing what happened last week with Karrion Kross attacking him from behind. And then before he could get any more words out, Karrion Kross's music hits, but Karrion Kross is nowhere to be found. We did see him backstage before Drew came out, but he didn't come out. He sent his freaking woman, Scarlett, out. So Scarlett comes out, distracts Drew McIntyre, and then the Usos attack Drew McIntyre from behind. That got me thinking. I'm like, wait a minute, is Scarlett and Karrion Kross affiliated with the Bloodline somehow? But then they kind of kiboshed my theory there after the Usos started yelling at Scarlett, and Scarlett's like, oh, I have a message for Karrion Kross and all this. I'm like, oh, okay. So I guess they're not together. But anyways, I thought this was pretty cool. Set up the match later that night. Drew McIntyre and Madcap Moss going up against the Usos. Drew McIntyre had to find a tag team partner. It started off 1-on-2, but then Madcap came out mid-match to help him out. It was a pretty decent tag team match. I did enjoy it. In the end, we saw Drew McIntyre hit the Claymore kick on Jimmy Uso after Madcap Moss took Jey Uso out of the equation, sending him over into the Timekeepers area. And Drew McIntyre was looking pretty good. Definitely. He was looking pretty good here. Able to pin Jimmy Uso of the Usos. I thought it was pretty cool. Decent tag team match. Moving over here, it was actually Ronda Rousey interrupting the contract signing for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Before it could even get started with Shayna Baszler and Liv Morgan, Ronda Rousey jumps the barricade because, of course, she's suspended right now, dumps a bunch of money on the table, and pays her fine for attacking that one referee at SummerSlam. So she did that, kind of yeeted, kind of left, and then her and Shayna had a little altercation by the entrance ramp. I'm like, ooh, did they just plant the seeds for a Shayna and Ronda Rousey rivalry? Because I'd love that. But then Ronda Rousey and Shayna kind of just walked past each other pretty swiftly, pretty fast. And then, of course, we jumped into the contract signing, Liv Morgan and Shayna Baszler. It was pretty fast contract signing, basic blabber. Shayna Baszler, of course, talking about the arm of Liv Morgan, how it's injured and everything. And then, of course, she tried attacking her after they signed the contract. But Liv Morgan was able to evade and hit a bulldog through the table off the middle rope. It was a really cool reversal that they had planned for this. I thought it was awesome. And showing that Liv Morgan's not just some beat-up toy, man. She's here to fight. She's here to hold on that belt. It was pretty decent. Moving over here is the main event of the show, and they were hyping this matchup all freaking night. And oh my gosh, Triple H knew what he was doing here, guys. Hyping this up all night. He told both of these guys, he's like, go out there, have a kick-ass match, make it good. This is for the Intercontinental Championship. They had a little IC title, a promo video like they did for the United States title, just bringing some relevancy back to these titles. The only thing I want you to do, Triple H, is with this Intercontinental Championship, please change the strap color to white. I think it would look so much better. But as far as this match goes, I thought it was so good. There was this cool spot where Shinsuke Nakamura kneed Gunther in the face, and I thought Gunther was literally knocked out. I thought that was awesome. Some wicked chops from Gunther, some awesome clotheslines from Gunther. He did amazing. This is one of the best matches I've seen from Shinsuke Nakamura in a long time. I know how good Shinsuke is, but Vince never allowed him to have this just really good match. This was awesome. I really enjoyed enjoyed it. It was hard-hitting. Obviously, it was meant to be really good. Thank you, Triple H. Thank you. But in the end, we saw Gunther pick up the victory with a powerbomb. He stacked him up and he pinned him. And there was no way Shinsuke was kicking out of that. He retained the IC title. No cheating from Ludwig on ringside either. It was a clean, swift victory from Gunther over Shinsuke Nakamura. And of course, we also saw Top Dollar, B-Fab, and Ashante Diodonis. Hit Row is back on SmackDown. Of course, released by Vince a while ago. Of course, I have Swerve Strickland sitting over here. No longer part of the group, but Hit Row basically just came out. They squashed a couple local competitors, but, I mean, it doesn't even matter about them. It was awesome to see them back on SmackDown. I do like the group. I think they're really cool. They don't have Swerve Strickland anymore, but it's okay. Swerve's in AEW, is AEW World Tag Team Champion, so it's okay. But, yeah, I like the three of them. I think it's pretty cool. I'm interested to see what they're going to do. Triple H giving them another chance here. Vince literally fired them after they were on SmackDown twice. Only twice. And then he got rid of them due to budget cuts. As Triple H is getting all these people back, I don't know, whatever. It makes zero sense. But Triple H, you are a freaking god. SmackDown this week, 3 out of 5. You guys don't know the vibes with that. It was a decent show. I did enjoy it. And I hope you guys enjoyed this week in review. Feel free to leave your ratings down in the comments down below. And I'll see you guys next time. BrettO Live out.